Hi and welcome to my review. Now this is WL Toys F949. Now I noticed quite a few of you out there, when it comes to replacing motors, have absolutely butchered your aeroplanes by trying to get the motor out, namely by cutting this section out. Now you don't need to do that, because you can actually take the motor out without damaging the aeroplane at all. And however, all is not lost, because those of you that have cut that bit out to either put bigger engines in it, like brushless motors, you can actually save yourself by neatly, well, wherever you've cut it, neatly trim it up and put magnets. Like, you can buy these micro dot magnets that you can glue in place on both sides, and you can actually, if you do it nice and neatly and file it all down, you can put it back on there, and the magnets will clip it together. So in future you could just undo it, and that way you've saved yourself a rough looking job. But those of you who haven't done this, I'm gonna tell you how you can change the motor without damaging the frame, the fuselage. I'm not going to show you how to do it because I don't need to change the motors on this, but I will tell you about it. The reason that I've heard that a lot of these motors only last for 10 hours, and I don't know whether it's the motor themselves or whether people running this at full throttle all the time, like, you know, flying around on full chat, it's going to overheat them, and you know, for hours on end, or you know, for months and months of flying it, you know, they're not going to last. They're replaceable. They're cheap enough. I think when you order them, you get the whole lot with it. You get the band, you get the motors, and you get the wiring, and I think they're only about £7. So, you know, it's cheap. You'll get another few months out of them. But I haven't. Also, another reason why they probably go as well is when you crash, of course, like the front of the prop hits the ground and the motor gets the brunt of it. So that probably doesn't help it in the long run. But anyway, yeah. So you can buy the motors already done. If you are buying them separately, they only take less than a minute to put together and wire up, so that's no problem. Right, anyway, if you notice, you'll be doing yourself a favour actually, because if you notice this propeller, I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up, but it's very offset. It's slightly, well, this one goes slightly to the right. I think they're all like that. They're slightly offset, although it doesn't affect the flying characteristics at all. But if you're going to put a new one in, you might as well put it in straight. Anyway, here's what you do. You see that wire in there? That goes to that plug. You undo that, right? You pull that out. It's just a socket. It's just a plug and socket. So you pull that out. Now, your motor, your three motors are in here attached to the prop. Now you can take the prop off, but I think you can. It'd be easier if you left the prop on for now. And all you do is, once that wire's removed, you want to tie a piece of string to it, or a bit of fishing line, or a hook made out of wire, and anything like that, and that'll become evident in a minute why. You give this a little wiggle and you should be able to feel the glue coming off the sides. They're only put on by a heat gun, and they're only little bits on foam, so they detach quite easily, is what I'm trying to say. So all you do is you wiggle it and then you pull it out. You pull the whole lot out. Now the prop's in the way, but there's room in there to get it out, and there's a hole underneath here, and that's where the third motor will come out. Now, if I was you, the best thing I would do is get yourself a pint glass, fill it up with boiling hot water. Make sure it's a thick glass, or you can use anything. You can use a saucepan even. Boil some water up, put it in a saucepan, and as the motor's had it anyway, dip the whole thing up to about here. Make sure the water doesn't get in here, and hold it in there for about five minutes. And what will happen is the water will make this go soft. Not soft that you can actually bend it, but it'll make it go soft enough to pull that motor out. So the whole lot will just slide out a lot easier. But wiggle this first, because you want to break the glue inside. You want to break the glue tabs. And then pull it out, and then the wire will come out with it. Make sure that the plug doesn't catch on anything, otherwise you don't want to pull the plug off. And the whole assembly will come out together. The 3 motors, you've got a length of wires, and then you've got the plug on the end of it. Now the reason I said about putting a bit of fishing line on the end of that is because when you put the motor back in, which is the exact opposite of how you're taking it out, if you pull the fishing line, you'll be able to pull the plug through that little recess under there. Otherwise you'll never be able to thread it all through. So use the fishing line and pull the wire through, and it'll all go through nice and neatly, and you just reconnect it. Again, before you put the motor back in, because it'll have nothing in there at this stage, dip it in hot water, boiling water, leave it in there for a few minutes, let this soften up, and then put the whole assembly in. And as I said, pull the fishing wire through, and that'll make sure that the wires will come through that little gap underneath there. And that's basically it. As simple as that. Don't have to cut nothing, you don't have to ruin your lovely model, nothing. It'll all go back in, and then last of all, put the prop on. What I would suggest as well is before you push that motor home, make sure you apply a little bit of glue on the tabs inside. You'll know where they are because you'll see the old glue on there. Get rid of the old glue and reapply some new glue. And while you're there, when you got it all the way home, just give it a little wiggle, just so that the gap between there and there is the same. Just so that motor doesn't sit offset. Because these do sit offset for some reason, but it doesn't harm it, so it doesn't matter if you can't get it right. But just before that glue sets, just make sure that motor sits in straight. Okay? Simple as that. There's no need to ruin it. There's no need to cut it or anything. I've seen people make 4 channels out of this with a brushless motor. Even ailerons on there with the servo sticking out the side. There's no need for it. If you want to get yourself, if you want to convert an aeroplane and make it into a 4-channel brushless one, then buy one. They're cheap enough. Just try it. This is a training model. It's not meant to fly, really fast and pull off silly manoeuvres. It's not for that. It does its job very good as it is. But, it's up to you really at the end of the day. But I just think it's a shame to ruin such a nice flyer. It even glides as good as it flies as well. Anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. If your motor ever goes, and it will do one day, now you'll know what to do. Alright, I'll catch you guys later, and hopefully we'll be flying some more things in the next video. Okay then, see you later, bye.